Well, good Friday, everybody. Welcome in studio. Chad Rosemall will be heading upstairs to announce in a few moments, but I thought I'd stop by and hang out with you. Lisa Blow back here tonight. Hopefully we'll see Randy, in a couple of days as well. You guys ran the ship last night.
Yep.
We got through a 10-race card. It started out, the wager was great.
We all had the winner.
Right off the bat, that 1-9 shot. Chicago Hall put it all together. Looked good. Dominated by like 8
Oh, yeah.
or
There
something.
were both those horses that were coming back in first start of the season as 3-year-olds. Of course, that horse, and then the one later on in the program, the
one
filly
Louis
that
drove?
was coming back. Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, they just aired the field, right?
Yeah. So it was, so James, that was his first of 5 on the Thursday program last night. Louis had a double, Jody had a double.
Well.
And then did McClure have the lone single maybe? Is that what it was?
I believe Bob had a winner on the program yesterday. Randy keeps tabs of everything.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to remember because I do write it down upstairs as it happens, just because if you got to call it in a race or something like that.
Well, I mean, really, the story last night was all about James.
Yeah,
and then
James winning 5.
Then those 2 horses, I think, that were coming back as 3-year-olds. That was pretty interesting to me, too.
Yeah, but a strong handle, too, over 1.8. Thanks for playing along, everybody, last night. But, with James, winning the 5. Clive Cohen, the best photographer in the business.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, and second to none. And he's got the stats to prove it. He's got the trophies to prove it as well. He always likes to do some fun little things, whether it's just this awesome picture that he's going to go and win an award for, or he's having some fun with some AI technology.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when I saw him post this on Twitter last night, I thought, this is pretty cool. Like, what $1 million idea.
Okay, so first, when I saw it, I'm like, is this real? Because if it is, I think
Are we handing this out on fan appreciation?
Yeah, I need one that's going to stay in the box forever, and then I need another one that he's going to autograph, and maybe it'll cuddle up with me at night when I'm lonely.
Yeah, and look at how many are still left on the shelf and behind there.
I just think this is great. Like in a world where you don't know what to believe sometimes, I actually bought this. I'm like, this is real. I'm going to get all the accessories. I like the accessory being the white gloves.
I love how they put the accessories there, too. Yeah, no, exactly. But, I mean, there was shelves full of them in behind there. Little side note, the Doug McNair action figures sold out. So, James, just saying.
Oh, well, that's got the removable hair cap, I think, too. On the
okay.
You can take the hat off, and then the hair pops up, and you can put it back down. And then there's a Randy Waples one coming out, too, complete with a full bum chin.
Full bum chin. Okay, yeah, perfect. I like it. No, it's just fun. If you can, if you're on any kind of social medias, I know Clive's on. I think he's on Instagram, obviously
Twitter.
on Facebook and X, I guess they call it. I still call
we
it Twitter.
still call it Twitter.
Yeah, just a fun account to follow. Clive does a great job. So that was our little fun last night. Speaking of James, he was out here this morning with many others qualifying. And this is the time of year where we're getting some bigger names back, and we've already seen some in the last couple of weeks. And things are picking up too because we qualified. We had 11 this morning. We're back qualifying Mondays. We're 2 days a week right now, which is good.
There's lots of horses.
Yeah, because I think in a few weeks' time, you're going to start seeing this entry box filled a lot more, some stakes action, maybe catered more or less to Ontario horses initially and Canadian horses, but then you'll start getting into the Grand Circuit stuff. But this morning for the qualifiers, just a couple that we sort of want to take note of. Willie's Home Run. Was supposed to go on Monday. I don't know why they opted not to qualify on Monday, but anyway, this ends up being her first charted line of the season, and it was a pretty nice final quarters. It's right there on the screen, 27-4, and she ends up winning by 5 1/4 here. So Logan's younger sister doing some nice things there.
I like her. I've always been a huge fan of Willie's Home Run. She's just a real cool horse to cheer on. So I would imagine we'll see her in the entries sooner rather than later, right, Chad?
Yeah, I see that she's paid into the Canadian sire graduate that we've got here for the 4-year-olds. That'll be just around the corner as well. You can get those eligibles on the Mohawk Park website. So that was pretty good for Willie's Home Run. Then sticking with the trotting theme, Gaines Hanover, who's put in some really good performances here over the years, had been racing south of the border, mainly at Yonkers in the last couple of months of 2024. This the first charted line of the year. Justin Turcotte now doing doing the training and ends up getting up for a win here in the 10th qualifier in 57 with Bob McClure. 27 seconds at the end of it.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive as well. You know, it's fun this time of year because we get to see all the big names starting to come back. And even if you take a look at maybe tomorrow's program, you're going to see some big names on tomorrow's card as well that are making all their returns. The thing that Randy and I were talking about last night too is, you know, when you're, you know, we're so used to seeing 2 qualifiers and then they race. There's a lot of horses right now coming back in off just 1 qualifier. So it's up to you to decide if you think the horse is tightened enough to win first start off of the qualifier or might need a start or 2.
Yeah, and I think in a lot of these instances too is some of the horses have maybe gone out and schooled a fast mile the week before.
Yeah, and then you have
right?
to wonder which ones maybe were away for the winter down south in Florida training.
Yeah.
So they have, you know, a really good foundation underneath them as well. You'll get to know those ones because they're going to come in slick as seals.
Yeah, and you're seeing more and more of these Florida places too. If you check U.S. Trotting, go into the fair tracks on there, and they'll show you, you know, whether it's Spring Garden Ranch or Gilchrist. Or I see Bob Young's back qualifying horses, Scott McEnany qualifying a bunch. So Paul Reed, actually, I think Paul's back already, and I think Carl Jameson's back as well. I think that was on the First Line Training Center sign. So yeah, it's a good time of year because it's just going to ramp up.
It just feels like now we're getting into the good part. You know, we've been through the winter. Not saying winter racing isn't any fun. It's fun, but we've been through that cold weather.
It's a blast.
You know, and and believe me, we lived through a really horrible winter. I'd say this was one of our worst winters. Year. Yeah, and I said to you yesterday, I really feel sorry for our friends at Western Fair. They've had an awful winter as well. They've had to cancel a lot. I know they had to cancel on Wednesday night because of the horrible rain.
Well,
and
it's some
freezing
slushy
rain.
weather first, then the rain. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
You know, so now hopefully we're through the worst of it. Now we are in for some rain tomorrow, and maybe all day. And I did see snow in the forecast, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday. So maybe one last blast and then we're good to go.
And my town tomorrow's got the Maple Syrup Festival.
Oh, well then you kind of want to
which
be a
you
little
want
chilly
nice. Today
for.
would have been perfect.
Yeah.
It's still going to be a big crowd. Literally, there's like 80,000 people come downtown.
You're
Elmira.
kidding.
Yeah. Little Elmira. Yeah.
Well, pick me up some maple syrup.
I don't go anywhere near it. I did as a kid.
Yeah, of course.
But now I'm old. I can't be bothered with the crowds. And
I got to park. It's a nightmare. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So anyway, I know that on you're scheduled to work tonight, but on nights when so much more is entered, would you not just offer to come in?
Yeah, and the carrots are in my bag. Look, I was running late today because the weather, the traffic was brutal coming from Niagara. I don't know why, but it was brutal today coming from Niagara, coming here. And I was a little late, and I thought, yeah, but I got to stop at Fortino's and get the bag of carrots, and I did. So that's how important she is to me. I was willing to be a little late for work to pick up her carrots.
All right, she's going to be in our feature, the Phillies and Mares Prefer. We've got that coming up early. So let's get through it. We're going to cover a bunch. We do have a handful of replays that we'll be looking at. The opener, as we can see what's going on in the early wagering. Corporate business is tonight the night that this guy is going to put together a win here. He does have the one win at Flamborough Downs. Been knocking on the door. He's been double digits. I don't know now that he's a shorter price, whether he stays that way, that could be tough to accept.
Well, the thing is I put him down as a horse to watch the last time he raced on March the 29th. I said to myself, put a star beside this one. Next time out, I feel like he's going to be live. But I didn't use him in the top spot because this Murray Breathour horse really intrigues me. That's Captain Hurley, just simply because, you know, he's had a couple of qualifiers, he's had a race, and now maybe today is go time, and you might get him at a little bit of a price. The other thing, too, is looks like Josh McKibben just decided, let's just start from scratch. You know, take off all the equipment and put on a whole bunch of new equipment. So blind to open, Murphy on the left, Steele to flip-flops up front, and another inch on that hobble for Strongman Hanover. Maybe, you know, today, and a change too in the driver, going to James McDonald tonight as well. And of course, we can't knock what James did last night, but it looks to me like they've gone back to the drawing board. Yeah, we'll see if he can do it. I mean, a lot of people liked him last start because of the bottled up trip he had, off the shelf. But again, even in that, he's still a horse that was, sort of on the line. But good to see Josh making some adjustments here. He's going to try to see what he can do to correct him and get this guy, because he knows there's some raw speed there. Sure. Right? There's certainly some talent. So Strongman Hanover, maybe tonight is the night that he goes through. But I like what you said about Captain Hurley, because I know when you guys threw up to me last week, this was one I was talking about, that the qualifiers were good on him. And then, racing on, that was that shortened program on Saturday. That's right. And from the 9 hole, he got a pretty aggressive Well,
steer
that's the other thing.
off
He
the
has
bench.
a much better post position to work with here tonight,
Right.
too. And I always like to play these Murray Breathauer horses, so that's why I use the 3 over the 5 tonight. But I did mark the 5 horse down as one to watch for this week.
All right, that's the opener on a Friday. Starts the $75,000 guaranteed early pick 5. Race number 2, that features we talk about $36,000 fillies and mares preferred. It's a group of just a half dozen. This field, when this class does go, has not been terribly large lately, but it's still loaded with talent. Headlined by the Maneri 1-2 punch, which, I mean, you know, it's still tough to kind of go away from Blue Pacific because of, you know, she had that long win streak. Then missed some time, and I guess we could give her a pass on that first race back. But I still thought she would have kicked home last time to win off of those fractions. But Century Jamila, is it just a case she's just too good right now?
You know what? I was the only person last
went to
week
Jamila?
that picked Century Jamila.
Yeah.
And the reason I did that is actually something that Jeff and I do quite often at Woodbine, which is, and you're going to see the replay while we're talking. But, you know, Mark Cassidy has a whole bunch of horses, obviously. Right. And sometimes, you know, he'll have, say, 2 horses in a race, and we all zero in on the one horse at 3 to 5, but it's the one at 7 to 1 who ends up jumping up and winning. And we always refer to that as the other Cassie runner. And I thought here, it could be the other Maneri horse. And it did turn out to be the other Maneri horse. I mean, what was the harm in using this horse up on top? You were going to get a much better price than you were going to get on Blue Pacific. And I was sitting here, you know, I was along for the ride myself trying to get her home. And she got home, too, with Louis Waugh in the bike. So that's that victory from back on the 21st. Now, Blue Pacific, I feel like tonight's the night where she turns the tables a bit.
Yeah.
But I'd be a little
stronger.
concerned. I mean, you're talking about a horse that's trying for 5 in a row. That's a tough task. So I thought maybe tonight she turns the tables. Of course, I have to use Sophie in my ticket as well. You know, she tries. Sometimes, you know, you wonder if maybe these younger fillies might be getting the better of her. But I certainly think it's a Maneri one too. It just, I like say last start out, I got lucky to get Century Jamila. This start, I feel like it's Blue Pacific's turn.
But again, if this ends up being one of those situations where they're going behind the gate and you're seeing similar odds.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Might as well.
Is it
You
kind of
might
like,
as
oh,
well.
geez, do we take a shot that she just stays hot?
Why
right?
not? You know,
Yeah.
it just depends. Like I said, we'll have to watch and see. I don't really, aside from those 2 mares, the other one that could surprise us could be John Pentland's horse, Sorcia
Sealster, yeah.
You
Now,
know.
this is one that, at the end of the day, even though I loved her off the bench, I think she just simply
She
needed
needed
it.
one.
She needed it.
She needed one.
And she'll be better going forward. This is going to be, I would think, a regular in this class,
Yeah.
Sorcia Sealster. And
Well,
I think you're going to see her come away with a bunch of wins in this class, too.
And I don't think they're in a rush with her, right? Like, they've got a long season ahead to make some serious cash. The last race got her a little tighter. Tonight, she'll be in the mix. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
And she's a great broodmare prospect down the road.
yeah.
Regardless of what she does on the track, she's got such great breeding herself. So that's the preferred coming up for the fillies and mares in race number 2. Over to the 3rd as we start our early pick 4. Ethel scratched out of here. I believe that was going to be a top pick from John Rollis in this spot here. Was trying for a price. He's going to have to go back to the drawing board now as we're down to a group of 7. Powder Play, the morning line favorite. Here's one that, again, James, since he's taken over, she's been in play. She's been live in every race. But at the end of the day, she still hasn't been able to
Get the
kind of
win.
land the knockout punch, right?
I know. And for
Yeah.
that reason, I took this Charmbeau Stormy tonight. Plus the fact that Charmbeau Stormy gets a much better post position. Had the 10 hole, had the 8 hole. You know, tonight we're working from the 3 hole here. She's put together a couple of nice wins in the pop-up. She's a horse with some confidence. And I really don't see a reason why I can't get her at a little bit of a price over the 1 horse Powder Play. I like Powder Play of, you know, cash tickets on this horse. But like you said, she's kind of win shy lately. Even last year, just the 5 wins from 30 starts. But look at the money that she was able to make. Wow.
Yeah, and I think Charmbeau Stormy's odds, I would predict, are going to be higher than the 3 to 1
sure.
offering. Especially when you start digging in and you see that Louis opted to go to the Gillis train. He missed Dutton. You know, that could just be a straight up handicapping angle from Louis. I know this one has started to put in better performances recently. But it's also a barn like Jeff Gillis gives Louis a lot more opportunities at some of the higher levels, and
yeah.
Jared Mann does a great job. But Charmbeau Stormy, one of the best ones in his barn right now. But Louis got to make some decisions sometimes here, and that's where he ends up going. So,
I understand that completely.
But you're going to get a price, I think.
Well, and then don't forget about the horse on the far outside. Better not
mock me.
From the Cullen outfit either, because this horse has been a player in the last few starts too.
All right, that's the 3rd race kickoff to the early pick 4. Pick 6 time. I thought we had a shot last night
Yeah,
at the carrying.
yeah.
Didn't quite happen. in there.
that long
But it was
shot, yeah.
a big. It might have just been a one ticket.
Yeah, it could have
That
been.
paid out
Yeah.
on it. But yeah, anyways, the fourth race is where we start. Kick it off with a group of 10. The morning line favorite all the way on the outside at Superior Delight. Now, this was one that, she wears those spreaders. She was struggling on the turns, but really good in the straightaways. Well, now she seems to be getting better and better with each start, and what's happening is it's resulting in victories. Tonight, however, she loses Louis, and that's because Louis, he owns 2 horses in here.
Yeah.
He owns the 9 and he owns the 4. He opted for the 9th Century Lunar. So Doug McNair picks up Superior Delight. Can she get it done from out there?
The only thing I don't like is the post position with her. But, and I still had to use her up on top because the more I kept looking, I was like, well, who could beat her here tonight? And the only horse I thought that could be a real threat would be this 5-horse, Whiskey Blue Chip. And, I see Randy actually used Whiskey Blue Chip up on top. Now, they're going from steel to flip-flops up front. And this is one that comes in off of a second-place performance. And I think we even have... Do we have the replay?
Yeah,
of that
we are
one
going to show that. Yep.
We did?
Yep. So
We
we're
showed
going to
it
see
while
this.
we were talking?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to it right now.
Oh, no, we didn't show it.
Oh,
I was saying
okay.
we have it, yes.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I missed that? Like, oh, man, I'm really having a night. Okay, so yeah, Whiskey Blue Chip. So this is the last trip on the 21st. And, she had the 6-hole that night. And she had a pretty decent trip. Never really, ended up finishing second in behind that Superior Delight horse who she has to hook again tonight. So she's faced the Superior Delight in her last couple of races. And she just hasn't been able to get the better of her. But she has got closer to her. So she could be a threat to try and turn the tables simply because she has a better post position here this evening than the 10.
Yeah, no, certainly could be. A bounce back horse for me would be Candy Kiss. This is one I love the look of her. She's got a great build. She looks strong, big barrel. That last start, she it ended up being Tyler's choice. He opted for that one over the, West Alexis, charge in there, and who ended up being second. This one got used pretty hard early on and didn't work out, but now she's gotten a couple of weeks off. March 14th was the last race. I could see her bouncing back for Borth and McIntosh with a bigger effort here tonight, but you can see that, Randy going Whiskey Blue Chip. You're going to try that outside draw.
I'll take a flyer on her.
But GB and Johnny are going to try DG Holy Shamoli off of that win in nominators of 1 here. So now has got 2 lifetime wins, but 1 here, at least coming in with some confidence.
That's for sure, coming in off of a win. And James is going to be back again tonight, so that's always a positive as well. But I did use her. I used her in the 3rd place spot. Then I used the Dean Nixon horse, Calcite, as well.
Just got this one.
Yeah, because, new horse into the barn. Dean back into race horses again, off of this horse coming in off of a victory. So, could be a little bit of could be a bit of a price, one would think.
All right, that's the 4th. Pick 6 starts with what could be a tricky field of 10. Race number 5, wrapping up the first of 2 pick 5s on this Friday program. Features a full field of 10 as well. It's a nice looking group.
It's a good group.
Some preferred types that are going to be in that top class in the near future. If Raptors 1 decides to shed the claiming tag, well, that's where she's going to have to fit. She's been perfect since joining the Cullen outfit. She's got another good draw. Even though last time she only held on by a head, I mean, it's still a win. You don't get paid anymore for the margin of victory, right?
Yeah. I mean, she's 50% in the winner's circle so
She's
far
hot.
this season. This is one of my the best races, I think, on tonight's card because they're so evenly matched.
Yep.
Right? I mean, some of these horses we've been playing for years, Western Wish, Raptors 1, Angostura, Hanover, Alabama, Hannah, these are all nice horses. Even Gouda 1, I think Gouda 1, in my opinion, is one of the best looking horses on this racetrack. Every time Amanda sends this horse out, she's absolutely perfectly
Always do that trim
groomed.
job with her too.
Oh,
right?
she looks
What do you
gorgeous.
call it? Is there a
The
certain-
clip,
Just
with
where
the
you-
way they trace clipper?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
but
what
it's
it
not
trace
just
clipping.
that.
Okay.
It's the blue and all the
I got
colors.
you.
And
Yeah.
to me, like, that's class. You
Yeah.
know, like that's saying I'm really proud of the horse that I'm sending out. And oftentimes we can get Gouda 1 home, and when we do get her home, sometimes we can get her at a price.
Mm-hmm.
I did not use her here tonight, though. I went to Western Wish from the Osceola barn because she's coming out of the preferred. She gets a little bit of relief here tonight. She doesn't have to face the likes of Blue Pacific, Century, Jamila, so much more. This should be a better bunch for her to beat.
And it's going to be a level playing field out there. We don't have the wind that would be favoring any certain style
Right,
here
yeah,
tonight.
like last night.
So, and I don't think it's going to change. So I think it's a level playing field. if somehow a bunch of them decide to mix it up, there's multiple lead changes, a Caviar and Crackers
yes.
in here. It's been a
Comes
while
flying from
since
off of
we've
it.
just kind of said,
Yeah.
you know, she looks like a winner tonight. You know what? Maybe
Yeah.
she'll just pop up when she's kind of forgotten.
But she's got that style, and you don't
Yep.
see it when you really look at her recent form. Well, you can see some races, but some of the best efforts I've ever seen from Caviar and Crackers is when Ed and her are at the back of the bus.
Yeah.
And they just start picking up horses coming down the lane.
And I know she's
Yeah.
done a nice job getting into the mix early in her last couple from the rail, but I really don't think that's her style anyway.
No, it's not.
Right?
I really, some of them, like I say, some of the most impressive wins for me that I've seen from her are when she's last and you don't think anything's going to happen. And then, boy, they start really, moving down the stretch. So she's sneaky. And, and like you said, the post position's not going to bug her.
9 of them trying to end the streak of Raptors 1 in that fifth race. Race number 6 to the trot. Only a couple of trot races on the card here tonight. This is going to kick off the late pick 5. A group of 8, non-winners of 2. 10 off of that maiden breaking win is going to be listed as the morning line choice. I think he can handle the jump up to non-winners of 2. I don't find it's that much tougher for him right now. Randy willing to go with him. You've got him rated highly. But the other popular one is this new recruit for Greg McNair, and that qualifier was pretty good for Go Blue.
I know. I'm all over Go Blue. And I mean, both the Green Manalishis I like here, Go Blue and Green Monster. Green Monster's making the first start back as a 3-year-old. Last year he had the nice win, at the end of his 2-year-old campaign. Or sorry, that would have been at the beginning of his 3-year-old campaign, January the 3rd. And then he's had a little bit of time to reset. He comes back here tonight. He's a neat horse, but Go Blue really interests me because, last night, I wish I had my program with me from last night. Last night we had a couple of horses back on the program making their 3-year-old debuts. We talked about them off the top of the show. Both of them were competing in the OSS races. Both of them had actually qualified for the super finals as well. That's not necessarily
so there would have
the case
been
here.
Louis' Bright Green.
Big win. That's right. And then the horse in the first race that won.
Chicago Hall.
That won last night. This Go Blue was a horse who was competing in the OSS ranks, but places like Grand River and against Gold Company though. This is the first start back. You get a qualifier. I'm really excited to see this horse. Why? Because in that qualifier, who was he second to? Chicago Hall. Who won by the length of the stretch last night? Chicago Hall. So it's a big frame of reference for the 3 horses.
Yeah, the only thing we'll maybe say to play devil's advocate would be that Chicago Hall got the luxury of, that was a numbers of 1 last night, right? That he got to race against.
Yeah.
Whereas this is going to be a numbers of 2 bunch. But I agree. I mean, that was a good back half. It was a good mile overall. Team McNair on Saturday had one off of the qualifier that went down the road, went easily.
Exactly.
So they can certainly have them ready. This Nick Boyd trainee, Mambo number 6, who surprised to win.
Yeah, that was a shocker.
Again, obviously showed talent as a 2-year-old and missed all of that time and then just shows up. Even that last race, I know the line maybe doesn't do it justice. I still thought he raced well.
He didn't race badly.
In there. He wasn't stressed too hard. Even on the end of it, it was an instance where he sort of got passed and he didn't just throw in the towel.
Yeah,
he
and
was still trotting well in the end. He's another real well put together son of 6-pack.
Yeah, and I think the winner was a logical winner that night too.
Jamboree, yeah.
Right? So, I wouldn't discount him. I didn't put him on my ticket here tonight, but it was kind of a shocker when he won first start back off of such a long breakaway.
All right. 6-race trot, starting that late pick 5. Late pick 4 underway in the 7th race. Full field of 10 here. So, even though we had 10 last night, we got 10 tonight, 10 tomorrow. Weekends we generally would like to see more than that, but we're working with what we've got right now. At least we're seeing some full fields, which is nice, right? Swift Talker in here is going to be the favorite. Safe to say she needed that last start. She hadn't raced in 3 weeks.
I would say so. I mean, she's a player. I think Coco Puff Powder getting onto the Lasix program could be tough here tonight too for Meg
others
Crone
thinking that
and
too.
Doug McNair. Yeah, she was a horse that some of you might remember from last year. She was in the Niagara, she was in the Blizzard. She was a horse who made some good money last year as a 3-year-old, and they paid a lot of money for her, $115,000. She gets onto the Lasix program here for her first start. Now I know Randy is one of those guys who will say to you, I like second-time Lasix. Me, I mean, I'm a first-time Lasix kind of person, so Cocoa Puff Powder is the way I'm going to go with the 9, Sunshine Magic, who's been a really nice horse for Jeff Hunt, I think, with a couple of good wins and a couple of second-place efforts. She's already made $30,000 this year.
Yep, no, she's doing all right. She's paying her way, in this spot. I don't mind Randy's shot here with Defining the Moment. Second start James back aboard, but a better draw too for this one who's just kind of getting back into the mix of things. But, Cocoa Puff Power, so many of those races with her, she looked like she was going to win by 10, and she just stops.
Yeah, that's never a good sign.
But
if you think, okay, she just stops. Now she's on the Lasix
Well,
program.
exactly. That's what I mean, right? So, and, the qualifier there, she finishes in 27 flat. I know she went nothing in the early stages, so you should have a good final quarter anyway. But still, it was a step in the right direction. I don't mind what you guys are doing here with Cocoa Puff Power.
I think she'll finish the mile tonight on Lasix.
This is still that mare that, like, her second lifetime start, she paces a mile 48-1. Right? She's beat a neck or something at the Meadowlands in there. So a lot of talent in there. Race number 8, this trot originally was going to be 9. It's now 7 with a couple of long shots scratched out of here in the 2 and 7. We've got a bunch that are coming back from Monday. Again, some of them competed in that no contest race that we ended up having where it was Collector that went down. Yeah, everything was fine, which is good, other than, it ended up being a no contest in there. Cadillac Moon, one thing I'll point out about that one, which the line doesn't show, is that he, like all the other Mark Goddard horses that were returning off the bench, they all went forward off the gate. This one went right to the front and does have gate speed in there as well. But Buck Dancer, who was a winner on Monday, you guys have got him to come back.
Well, I mean, I had a star beside him last time out to play him on the 31st, and he won on the 31st, and it wasn't no doubt about it, winner either for me. I thought he was a good single, actually, back on that program. So today, I'm just going to go right back to him again because, he's consistent. He tries all the time, with the exception of that one clunker that he had when the track just maybe wasn't to his liking. But otherwise, on a fast track, I think he's a bit of a demon, so I'll go with Buck Dancer up on top.
Peso Hanover, I think, is racing great.
He's racing really well,
really
too.
well against Linus right off the bat. And then that was a good race considering what he had to deal with at Flambeau with the post, the interference, whatever it may be. But then came back here. I thought he raced real tough again last
I used
start.
him, too. I used him, and I did use this Cadillac Moon that you were talking about as well. So I went back and watched the no contest race because, you don't see any lines from that. So you got to go back and see because you're only going to see so much. But you're right on what you pointed out on Cadillac Moon.
Race number 9 to kick off the late double, 20,000 claiming Pacers that are known as a 60,000 lifetime. We've got a group of 10 in here. On Time Delivery is going to get on the Lasix program. Second start into the Kyle Fellows barn. McNair is going to be back aboard. He's familiar because this used to be his dad's trainee. So that could be a plus in here. And I think this guy's obviously going to be a major player. I mean, he just got picked off in his latest, and now Lasix could possibly elevate him.
Well, and here's the other thing. If you kind of read between the lines, like people like us do, you look and you see, he's claimed off McNair, and then they race him the first start back. With a different driver, of course. Now they go back to McNair. I mean, it's to me like it's, and I understand that that's a father-son relationship, but even when I'm playing, the runners, if I find the jock, if the horse gets claimed and the jock follows the horse to the new barn, that's always a good sign. So McNair obviously gets along really well with this guy. He's made a lot of money with this guy, so I used him. I mean, a lot of people have used him up on top, with the exception of John, who went with a long shot in this race. Stars Treasure coming in off of a win. Now that win wasn't at a bad price.
He had that horse pick last time.
Yeah. And this could be a real upsetter if this horse happens to win this race too, because I think Jimmy Whispers is sitting on a big race. I think our Tarquinius Hanover. I mean, hey, you want to talk about an upset win? That was an upset win. He was almost 100-1 when he won back on the 20th.
When Kyle had this horse training down as a youngster, he loved him. This was like his, so-called any cup horse, and it just didn't work out.
It doesn't
whatever
always
it was,
work out.
and then you see that he's got a mark of 49.4 last year. Then he's tossed into a claimer last time, and I mean, he got used aggressively, multiple moves in that race, and ends up paying the big price. So he'll get a little more respect here tonight. That's for sure. Can he double up? I think a Sporty B type horse too, from an inside post. Last time he was in this level, just missed. Could be another one if you're looking for an alternative to the likes of On Time Delivery figures to get plenty of play. High Five finale in race number 10, 154,000 plus. in carryover money as it continues to grow. Again, we were scheduled to have that mandatory on the Saturday, but it got scrapped. So just awaiting details of, how long are we going to let this grow,
we were kind
or
of
who
thinking,
knows?
like Randy and I were talking about it, like when would be the next big day? And then we were like, could it go? I mean, gosh, it would be a miracle if it did, but could it wait all the way to Kentucky Derby Day?
Yeah,
That's a month.
Yeah,
you
the risk I would say with a day like Kentucky Derby Day is that although you've got, you expect to have all these eyes on horse racing.
Yeah.
That's a long day for
It's a
the
long
people that
day.
have the eyes on the Kentucky Derby
Could
program.
it go on opening day of Woodbine?
Yeah, what's
I
that?
don't
The
know.
26th?
26th.
Yeah.
Like because you kind of have to figure like you want it to go on a big day when all eyes are on us, right? So maybe the 26th is that day, but.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Keep close eye on our social channels for maybe some announcement in the near future.
Well,
but
Easter's coming up. It'd be a nice Easter gift.
could be. Yeah.
Instead of that chocolate bunny, give me $500,000. That'd work out.
And buy some chocolate bunnies, wouldn't it? And some eggs. So we've got 10 of them to wrap things up. It's a bottom level condition for the fillies and mares on the pace. Chickabel is going to be the morning line favorite. She's been racing pretty well.
She's good right now.
And I mean, she keeps the claiming tag on. That's going to keep her into a classification where she's still going to look good. And then goes to Kyle Fellows. And one thing Kyle's going to bring along is the driver that's been aboard, and that's James.
I just said that to you on the other horse. I love it when horses get claimed and the driver basically follows them to the new barn or gets the call next start out. So Chickabel for me off of the claim. I really like this horse back on the 29th, and we just got beat unfortunately by Miss Quicksand, who I think made logical sense in that race too. I'm waiting for one last bet. I'm telling you, I think
I was just going to say, did Mike even want to look at the entries when they came out?
I know.
Say, what did I get?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, hey, okay, so we'll say we got a better post position. That's great.
Yep.
I always like to cheer for these Arthur Ray horses because, Arthur has Emmett's buddy, and he'll be in tomorrow night. And now that I'm coming tomorrow night, I've got carrots for Emmett. That's the other horse that gets carrots too. And that's Mike's problem. He came over and was giving me, he was giving me a hard time. So, so I got to go back to one last bet again. I've been waiting for this horse all year. And then the 8, Waiting on a Woman. But here's the replay last start out from March 29th of one last bet. And again, a reminder, she was working from the 10 hole. She suffered interference right off the hop. She got a wide trip too. I mean, what else could go wrong?
I'm trying to think of what the interference was for
I
them
can't-
at
it
the
was
start
right off
again.
the hop.
I'm assuming there was a breaker that maybe bothered some of them.
I don't know. Well, and then of course, look at the weather wasn't good that night.
This was that poor
either.
Saturday, right?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that would have. Okay, hold on then, Chad. That would have been the Saturday that you guys would have canceled right after this race.
Well, we got more than 5 in, didn't we? Didn't we get?
I don't remember. So you got
6.
in,
Okay,
there's
so we
one
got
more
6,
after
and then
this.
so one more after this. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And I think the biggest thing out there was the visibility.
Well,
It was
then
tough.
freezing rain.
And the freezing rain was all right. That was pelting all night. So
nobody likes
that was gonna be tough. But yeah, no, I know the visibility was just kind of tough with just the mix of all that wetness that just wouldn't let up.
When I was driving in tonight, I heard there's still a lot of people without power up Muskoka Way and Aurelia Way because of that ice storm from that day.
Yeah, I've seen so many pictures and videos, and we have horse people that come from the Peterborough Way and up there, and they were dealing with a bunch.
In a lot of trouble too.
It's tough, but I mean these crews have been working obviously tirelessly, after hours to try and get it all
But
fixed.
you know what, Chad? You got to think about that too. Our friends coming in from Peterborough likely missed a few days of training as well. So, but their horses are tight. It's not like they're horses that don't race all the time.
Yep.
So, maybe keep an eye on that.
All right, you've got a 4-pack of plays tonight. We'll go with yours first. So take us through what you got here.
Okay, I need to remind myself what I got here when the board comes up. All right, so my watch list horse is this Corporate Business because now I'm going to just say this now because you give me heck about this. I didn't use him on top, but what I'm saying is he made my watch list last start out, Corporate Business. Okay, so, I still in that race did use the 3 Captain Hurley, but he made my list. Ready off the rest.
Give you a tagline at least. At least Waples goes Waples watch.
Well, no, see, I can't. Nothing works with my last name. Ready off the rest is my new one though.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a horse coming back
like
in.
it.
Off of a qualifier. Go Blue is my horse there. Buck Dancer's my all in, and I
Went off the claim.
Chickabel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, went off. That's a new one too, at least that I've seen.
Yeah,
went off the claim.
I came with
There,
that by myself
look at this.
too. Yeah.
The creative Elisa Blow. All right, Randy Waples has got Strongman Hanover right off the bat here. Obviously, when he made these picks, he didn't know about all the wholesale changes. I'm sure Randy's probably happy to see that as well. His Waples watch. That does just roll off the tongue.
Perfect,
Yeah,
yeah.
it rolls off the tongue. Lions better day. Defining the moment, worth a look. And one last bet. It's going to be his all-in. Finally getting an ideal post to work from.
Yeah,
and just needs to
I'm
take
not
advantage.
surprised he's doing that.
Here's what Ghislaine, Johnny, and GB have got for their plays of the night as well. Throughout the night, we'll have all their picks on the board. So good luck to them and good luck to you. Thanks for kicking off your weekend right here at Mohawk Park. First of 10 coming your way in just under 10 minutes time. We'll take a timeout. I'm going to jet upstairs, and Elisa's got you covered throughout the night. Enjoy.